What's up, everyone? This is Ben, also known as Goose. I don't know where that nickname came from, but I'm sure it's going to stick. Dave is currently traveling for work, and so we were unable to record together a full Fixers episode. But Iceman, also known as Chris, had an idea for a kind of an experimental format for something that could be a podcast, could be, I don't know, TM, just in case. It is an interview recorded separately. So Ryan Haymaker recorded his half, and then Iceman recorded his responses, and then they just kind of spliced them together to make it sound like they were having a conversation, what they actually weren't recording at the same time at all. It sort of turned out funnier than they intended. And so we decided that we would just share it on the feed here, and we will have a new episode for you hopefully fairly soon. In the meantime, don't die. Stay alive, and we will also try to do the same. We'll do the same. We'll do the same thing, and everyone will be alive the next time that we have an episode, a full episode. I'm going to go now. Bye. Oh, one more thing really quick. If you hear screaming in the background of my recording just now, that's because my wife and daughter are playing video games loudly. That's it. Enjoy the interview.
Good evening. When one thinks of a tried-and-true blue hero, a Herculean statuesque figure, one can only see one man standing amongst the rubble that is their subconscious mind. I present the incomparable Samuel Dungham. Welcome, Sam the man.
Hey! Hi!
May I call you Samuel?
No, that's not my...
In 2010, you were given the Humanitarian Award on account of all the heroism. If you haven't seen this extraordinarily expeditious speech for the receiving of said award, please, I implore you to go watch it now on Vimeo. You were truly heroic that day, sir.
I guess. I mean, I do my best.
Yes, I myself am a very meek, helpless fellow, so please tell me about the time you were faced with an unbelievably upsetting person, and how did you handle them?
So there was this dude, right? Like, I was at the what's the name of the pretzel joint at the mall? Auntie Anne's. That's the one. Not a Wetzel's. Fuck Wetzel's. And this dude was like, he was real in my face, and he just wouldn't leave me alone. He kept pushing me. Do that thing where like it's like a poke and a shove at the same time because it's with two fingers and they just kind of hit you in the solar plexus, you know. He kept doing that one, and he said, "Hey, little man, you got a little man complex." And I said, "Yeah, well, your entire head is inside the hot butter from the pretzels. Look, I gotta be honest with you. I started exaggerating about a quarter of the way into that story. It got out of hand. Can I retract that whole thing?"
Well, I'll have to write that down in my On Bad Days in Town situational bold list notebook. How are you feeling?
Bad. Mostly. You?
Well, I would be absolutely terrified, TBH. What happened next?
Well, next, I mean, like I said, I gotta retract that whole story. So, I mean, what happened next, I guess, was that he was... Okay, the true parts were the part where he was poking me. And at that point, I figured that the thing for me to do would be to subtly piss myself a little bit, but not enough to be visible or smellable. And I did. And I became self-conscious about that, and I said, you know what? I don't need any mustard after all on this pretzel. I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and then he never saw me again. I'll tell you that. That's for sure.
Wowzers. What a debacle. Question 5. Why?
Well, I mean, because I wanted a pretzel, but then the guy was mean. That's about it.
Happy camper or malcontent? Cynic, misanthrope, naysayer, pessimist, critic, derider, detractor, scoffer, doubter, negativist, skeptic, defeatist, misandrist, cynic, fatalist, nihilist, hard-nosed, pragmatist, realist, anti-utopian, knocker, or naysayer?
What the fuck are you talking about? That was just a list of stuff. What is this?
Yes, I see. If you could turn into any animal, what would it be? How do the characteristics of this animal relate to this job?
I would turn into a fire ant. And as a fire ant, I think that I could more effectively sneak around in the little nooks and crannies and corners in this place. And being able to get into nooks and crannies is a thing that only I would be bringing to the table, seeing as everybody else would be the size of a human. So, I mean, I figure that'd be a plus, or a feather in my cap.
I would be a sea cucumber. I would finally look how I act. Also, when I'm scared, I ejac.
Oh yeah, me too.
Do you want 2 CDs?
See what? These nuts?
Do you want to see these nuts?
See these nuts? Yeah. Yep. Figured that's where that was going. Yeah. Having a little laugh. There he goes.
What duché, dukedom, emirate, or principality superpower would you choose for yourself? Give me an example of how it would apply to this job.
You just listed, like, types of government and then said the word superpower. I guess I would have the ability to turn into a fire ant with, like, I guess a more egalitarian sort of self-governance sort of thing where everybody has a say, but then, if your ideas are too stupid or if you try to take too much power for yourself, you're killed.
I would Alex Mack. I mean, think of what you could do. Think of the possibilities as a puddle of mercury. Jeez, it's hot in here. I'm simply melting.
Yeah, you are melting a little bit there. You do like a silvery kind of goop. See, I'm more of a Matilda man myself. It's one of the few movies that DeVito directed.
If you wrote a book about your career so far, what would you title it? And why?
Oh, what would I title a book about my career so far? I would title it Adventures of a Small Scared Man, My Life in a Small Body by Samuel Dungo, or whatever the fuck. I don't remember my own name.
Wet. Because every time I'm at work, I get a little dampy by the end. Ever get the damps?
Yeah, I've got them right now, in fact.
What advice would you give yourself at age 15?
Oh, at age 15, the advice I would give myself, and did, was look at all the porno you can and constantly touch your penis. It's very charming.
Mine would be cut off your tongue in the name of Almighty God.
That's wild.
At McDonald's in Guilford and Surrey, I spilt my coffee on my crotch in a scurry. I had to act quick to cool down my dick, so I stuck it into a McFlurry.
Why did you read me a limerick just now?
If you were an ice cream flavor, what would it be?
Well, if I was an ice cream flavor, what would it be? Fire ant.
I'd be Tutti Frutti. With gummy bears on top.
Are you hungry?
I can just think of it now. You want to go get some ice cream after this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're on the same page. Yeah, great.
If you weren't in this line of work, what career would you pursue? I'd be an electrician. Think of how exciting that would be.
Do you want me to answer too, or?
13. If you had one day left to live, how would you spend it?
Oh, if I had one day left to live, how would I spend it? I think that. I mean, I guess if I knew that it was my last day, I would take all of the money out of the bank and get a hooker. I mean, that's it, Get my rocks off and get high. Like, that's the last day. What do you think I'm going to do? Go to a temple and, look for salvation? It ain't coming. Not for me.
I would very much like to finally read a book. Number 14? What's the very first job you had that's not on your resume?
Oh, the very first job I had that's not on my resume? Assassin.
A resume. A resume. Resume.
It's
And
resume.
what did you learn from the experience?
I learned that you can kill a man by shooting him.
I was a golf course attendant. And I learned not to try to ramp a golf cult. A golf cult? Do you know what that is? Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah, golf colt? Yeah, like a horse. A little baby horse for golfing.
And I learned to not
I learned that in Philly.
try and ramp a golf cart over a pile of leaves.
All right.
How would you describe yourself in one word, and why?
I'm going to have to go with small, and because of my size.
Svelte. Svelte. Number 16. Favorite Spanish word?
Favorite Spanish word? I'm going to go with España.
Papas. Papas. Because it's
Oh,
funny.
that's a good one. Yeah.
It means potato.
You saying... Oh, papas. I thought you said tapas, like small plate appetizer. Oh,
Number 17. Marbles?
yes.
No. I apologize. Just call me
Oh.
Toodles. Why
I won't call you
couldn't the
Toodles. That's
pony
never a thing I'm
sing a
gonna do.
lullaby?
Because it was too hoarse? It was a little hoarse?
She was a little horse.
Yep.
Pardon, I misspoke. A little
Yeah, no, we got
horse.
there.
A
Yeah,
little
no, we're both
horse.
there. We're both there. There you go with that elongated, wheezing laughter at your own jokes. My God.
Knock, knock.
Who there?
Dozer.
Those are who? Those are my nuts?
Those are the biggest breasts I've ever seen.
Yep, something like that. Yep.
Another limerick.
Oh,
A
boy.
sperm, a lacking forsooth, was at its moment of sexual truth. It had hoped to fall on the womb's spongy wall, but was dashed to its death on a tooth.
Well, I bet you were just a real riot in the 4th grade. Remember Beavis and Butthead?
Oh man,
Yeah,
my
that show's coming
side.
back.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was all for today. Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
That was Samuel Dungham, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right,
what
Samuel
a
Dungham. That's my name.
trooper. Wowee.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, thanks.
I think
thanks a
he's
lot.
off to his next adventure to save someone or something. Oh, boysy.
Yeah,
Okay.
hey, thank you for
Good
whatever
night,
this was.
everyone.
Yeah, good night.